Hi, Anna. Hi, Anna. Sorry, I was still setting up some things. Can you hear me? I was just sending out a message to everybody on Patreon, and I think I just did that. Yep. The stream is live on Patreon too. Yeah. Can you hear me? Hi, Chaz. What's up? What's up? Can you guys hear me all right? Is the sound good? The background is such a mess. Give me a second. Got that? All right. Sounds good. There's no mess. Yeah, just the microphone now. I think I'm getting a cold. My voice is so deep, deeper than usual. It's like I'm getting a cold. Good thing I shot all my videos yesterday. I shot like 15, maybe even 20 videos yesterday. It was wild. Uh, just a beautiful being about the briefest. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Well, today, I think we're not going to keep it brief because today we have an hour. So today we'll just chat for an hour. Not keeping anything short. It's actually funny because now that I'm doing the YouTube soon, where the videos will obviously be longer, does the name still make sense? Am I still briefed? Am I still keeping it short? So, but I guess I still if if you put the whole story of Zeus in a video of 10 minutes, you're still briefing it. You're still keeping it brief because I think there's more to it than 10 minutes. Give me a second. Just seeing an issue here. All right. That is solvable. Solved. Okay, good. I think there's a delay in the chat. Can we do a thing in the chat where we count, and you write as soon as you hear the next number, you write it so I can kind of figure out the delay in the chat. So I'm gonna count to 10, but you write the number 7 right after I said 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's pretty good. 2. Well, you got the 2. Okay, cool. There's not much of that. Okay, cool. Once you're at an hour, we're getting a lecture. But yeah, once I get to an hour, it's an official lecture, and I'm professor briefed. Fat fingers at the 2, 7. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Charles. No, it seems okay. It seems okay. It seems all right. How are you guys doing? Where are you guys from? I always want to know where people are from that are in the chat. It's great because when we do these streams, not a lot of people join actually, so it's very intimate, and we actually get to know one another. It's like a date. It's beautiful. When I stream on TikTok, for example, it's always like a lot of people. It's always 100 people concurrent, and but 1,000 people come in and out, and you don't really get to know anybody. So I really like this here. You're in the Netherlands. You're from England. Cool. Which cities? I'm originally from Germany. You might know. So we share that. We're all Europeans. Which cities in the Netherlands and the Englands are you from? How is Europe right now? Because it's like with there was the war going on, so all the prices went up, and the gas prices went up, and I think even groceries went up. Is that still a thing, or has the situation settled back to what it used to be? Is it more chill now? You're from Oregon, living near Amsterdam. All right, okay, from Oregon, the home of Portland. Um, That's cool. Why did you move not to the Netherlands? Marriage, just for fun? Like me, I just moved here to Mexico because I was tired of Europe. Like, what made you move? Everything is still on fire when it comes to the price. Ah, shit. How bad is it? Like, grocery wise, let's say you used to spend 50, let's just say you used to spend 50 euros a week for groceries. Let's just say well, let's say you used to spend 100 euros a week for groceries because it's easier to do math with 100. How much are you spending for groceries now? I'm from a pretty small town, so you probably wouldn't know it, but it's near Birmingham. Okay, cool. Yeah, I probably wouldn't know it because I don't know, but I know Birmingham, and I used to study in London. So I lived in London for 4 years for my studies, and then one more year extra. So I lived in London for 5 years, actually longer than I spent in Mexico. So I know it fairly well, but mostly London area, not so much England as a whole. But there were a lot of people from Birmingham, obviously in London at my uni. I'm a female I met on a video game. No way! Wow. And is that a lot? Is that are you friends? Like, are you digital friends? Where it's like, okay, we're very cool. I have a lot of digital friends too. Um, so where you like, I convinced you to come to Netherlands, but you're not meeting up in real life. Are you friends in real life, or did it turn into a love story? Even what's the story there, if you don't mind sharing? And which game? And which game? I do game, not so much anymore. Now I only play League of Legends a little, but I used to game majorly. If you know the website earlygame.com, I was the creative director of that website, and so obviously a gaming was as much of a part then, as much of a part of my life then as mythology is now. It was huge, but now I do this, and there's no time to game anymore. Oh, you see, League of Legends. All right, perfect. Okay, turn into a love story. League of Legends. That's beautiful, man. That's really cool. I dabble in League, I should say. I'm not any good. I don't even play ranked. I think when I did play ranked, I got to silver once, but I was playing Sona, so I was just really just a very basic heal and see a heal and push the attack support. I didn't even go into the intricate ways of playing Sona, so I just it's just making sure nobody dies and play my way up to silver, but really not good, really not good. I do like it. I was thinking a friend of mine and me, she plays League. Her name's Fancy Face on Twitch, and we were thinking of going to Seoul, South Korea, to watch the what's it called, the League of Legends World Championship, maybe. Yeah, my mythology guru, so I can keep gaming. Yeah, yeah. You don't need to. No need to get into the intricacies of mythology because you got me. You got me. So good, not good. Both my partner and I don't play League much anymore. Okay, so How long ago did you meet on League? If you don't play it anymore, how long ago was that? Now I'm thinking this is like a marriage. I'm assuming, and it's been a while. I just need to do something real quick. Uh, I just need to send out a message. I'm sorry. Where is it? Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, cool, done. Say man, not good. But no, I didn't miss any messages. Yeah, what's the story there with your partner? And Anna, you've been quiet. Anna, you've been quiet. Keep getting errors. Oh no. Oh no. That sucks. Hold on. Maybe there's something wrong in the settings. Sometimes they have these stupid filters. It's fixed? Alright, cool. But maybe other people are getting that too. Should be no community settings. Allow all comments. Okay, save. Save now should be good. Where's the fellow Briefian? Oh, I like Briefian. So far, we only have Brief Nation. It's okay, Chaz. We can have a romantic one-on-one. Been in the Netherlands for 8, known it for 10. Okay. And so, did you say near Amsterdam, right? That's amazing. So, how long after the real life meet, which is already beautiful, like the real life reveal, how long after the reveal did you start dating, and how long after the beginning of the dating did you get married? Being forced to socialize. Well, it's good to socialize, but I know the feeling. Believe it or not, despite this being my job and now streaming and then talking to people every day by virtue of my videos, I'm not antisocial. I don't have issues with being social, and I don't. But I am very much a homebody. I'm always at home alone with Zizou. Yesterday I was watching the fights, UFC, and I was with people, and it was cool, and I do enjoy it. But it was too much, man. And then now I'm so drained. I'm so tired. And after like 3 hours, after 4 hours with people, I'm tapped. I can't talk anymore. I'm just my energy is low. I'm like, and I'm trying to be polite because people are great. They're people are nice in general, and it's not that the company I'm in is treating me poorly. They're genuinely happy for me to be there and genuinely engaged in conversation and wanting to know things. I just can't. I just have to force myself to continue keep the conversation going, and I'm just drained. I'm very much the opposite of a social butterfly. Enjoying my space, enjoying my solitude. Well, it's not solitude. I have my dog, right? I have Zizou. Um, but yeah, sorry. Just a little tangent off of you saying you're first socialist. Um, yeah, but I know. But if you just sit there and listen, and then it's weird. And because when I do get into a socializing environment, I do have my energy like as if I were streaming or if I were doing a video. So I'm talking because I like okay, socializing, boom, energy on. So the first hour, I'm very much often in the spotlight because I'm used to doing it. I'm used to performing and entertaining, right, by virtue of this job. So then, after an hour, after 2 hours, after 3 hours tops, my energy is when all of a sudden I want to sit there and listen, but it's weird for people because what happened to this guy. So now, but I feel you. I would rather just listen to. Oh, that's a long story. We are married in mind, heart, and soul, not paper. Couldn't get married. Government said no. I have two children. And my permit to stay here. We'll do marriage later. Listen, I even think there's something beautiful about marriage in the spirit. The spirit of marriage is beautiful. The fact of marriage is so institutionalized. The fact that and there's so many hoops you have to go through and so many documents that you have to sign that it kind of kills the romance, right? You know what I mean? So I think you mostly get married. There's certain benefits depending on the country, tax benefits, and that makes it worthwhile. But it doesn't change anything about the relationship. Being married shouldn't change the relationship if you love each other and you want to be for the rest of your life. That's my belief in anyway. Marriage is just a formality. It's a beautiful romantic formality. It's a beautiful event that seals the deal in a way, but the deal is already sealed. A marriage, the wedding, the marriage shouldn't change anything, and also you shouldn't have to spend a fortune on a wedding. You should, if you want to, and if you want to have that moment to be special, but there shouldn't be a necessity. Same with the ring. Why the fuck are wedding rings so expensive? Why they should be special? Money isn't special, and especially if you have it, the more it's not special. So rich people spend so much on wedding ring, it's not special. You have the money anyway. It's maybe special if you broke as hell and you somehow find $1,000 to spend on a ring, but even then, buy food. And if you have the money, donate it to people. Donate the millions of dollars that you would spend on a ring. Donate that. That's something to remember. For hey, remember when we got married and we donated the money for the ring, and because of that, a kid is alive somewhere and living instead of you wearing a ring. I think there's so much more we can do with that money rather than spend it on a silly ring. I think the ring is a symbol, and that symbol can be anything that has meaning, and maybe it's something to put on a finger, but it doesn't have to be worth a lot of money. Rant on marriage. And speaking of rings, if you see me in my videos, and I always have my ring and my ring on, right? They're cheap as hell. They're like €5. So that's not expensive stuff. I don't buy expensive clothes. I don't buy expensive stuff. I don't believe in that stuff. I think it's terrible. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I listen to others. I'm here but recovering from a migraine this morning, so I can't really think straight. PL Morgan, that is no problem. I will think straight for you. Don't need to participate by making noises with my voice box. I like the word voice box. Hope you get better, PL. Hope you get better, PL. I didn't even say that. Damn, I'm terrible human being. Zeus ain't shit. Thank you, that girl. That girl, you said it. I said let's talk shit about Zeus behind his back. Zeus ain't shit. He's a bitch. Scumbag. Punk ass, bitch ass. 100% zero brief. It's a ceremony more than a bond. Exactly. What? Yeah. I wish I had 1,000. Right, Anna. I wish you had $1,000 too. And I and that being said, I really do appreciate you spending bucks on the Patreon. Wow, appreciate you. Thank you. Right, but it's like I wish I had $1,000 to just spare too. I wish I had $1,000 to spare. I think it's even silly to spend $1,000 on a wedding ring. And I would like to think that even if I had $1,000 to spare, even if I had $100,000 to spare, I would still hold that same belief. I would still hold it. You know how much $1,000 is in some people's hands somewhere in the world? Isn't that a more beautiful memory than a ring? I don't know. Absolutely. Someone just said, have a party to celebrate instead of putting yourself in debt. Exactly. Exactly. It's cool to party. It's cool to have fun. It's cool to go out. I was out yesterday watching the fights and I spent $25. $25 on me having a fight night. And you could say, oh yeah, but $25 you could feed a kid. Okay, yeah, sure. You can always take it there. But there's levels to it, you know. Sometimes it's nice to spend money to enjoy yourself, but there's a limit, there's a level. Scumbag Susan stuff, scumbag Steve. I like it. Exactly. It's worth the $12 a month. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. To £12 too. I appreciate that, Anna. That's very kind. By the way, everybody subscribing to the Patreon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. TikTok, I don't get a cent off of TikTok. And the account blew up. So now this is full time. This is legit a full-time job. That's all I do. Didn't expect it to blow up so quickly. Don't get anything from TikTok because I opened it in Mexico. Go figure. They're very rigged. So it's all Patreon. It's all Patreon. It's all you guys. Thank you. I'm so glad you covered the Egyptian god. How about the Finnish god? The Finnish gods. I didn't know the Finnish have distinctively different gods from the rest of Scandinavia. I thought the Norse gods just cover all of Scandinavia and more. I did not know that Finland has distinct gods. Does that mean Denmark and Sweden also have their own gods? That's why courthouse weddings are becoming known now. No, save on money. Yeah, save on money. It's like, I mean, we party. Everybody parties like at least once a year, right? So just make the wedding another party that's special. I never understood that concept. I never understood men and women that expect it. And I think in the society we live in now, the way it's set up, it's the man pays mostly, I think, or even the father, and women have somehow equaled money spent on ring and or wedding with the amount of love given. I think that's terrible. And I think if a man can only show his love with monetary spending, that is terrible. You should not feel more love because of how much he spent on you. And you should not show your love with that. And the law should not be questioned. Nah, it's just weird society we live in now. Weird society. You know, it becomes then a relationship becomes more of a financial a financial relationship. Then that's terrible. Like how much you're giving me and how much am I receiving from you in terms of money and material things. And that's how I measure my love and what I give back in terms of love or physical love or whatever. It's a trait. It's not love, that's a trait. My sub didn't go through, but it seems like a process. I was worried I wouldn't stay brief. I'm glad you're still here, Chaz. I'm glad you're still here. It seems a lot of subs don't go through. I always get notifications like money couldn't be processed or whatever. Odd. Maybe Patreon has issues. I am also going to. I need to get my ass up and do that. But now I'm working hard on YouTube because I want to launch YouTube in it's 10 days now, basically. I need to. What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? I'm gonna do subscriptions also on TikTok for the same price. For the same price, so I'm gonna make the videos available on TikTok for the same price as on Patreon, because TikTok has a subscription service, and I'm gonna try to set up a subscription service on Instagram also for the same price. So then people have options, you know. Then you don't have to sign up for Patreon specifically, and you can also do it in the TikTok app or in the Instagram app. Same content, same price. Just on TikTok and Instagram, I can't make the artwork accessible because I can't work with links and documents. You know, I don't have a page. So that's Patreon, but the videos I can do TikTok and Instagram. My substance sounds similar to the Greek pantheon. What sounds similar to the Greek pantheon? Um, Lots of heroes. What are some? Give me like some of the biggest Finnish heroes. I probably know one or two. I mean, I know the story of Askeladen, right? That was a Finnish story, no? Um, Sounds similar, yeah. What sounds similar to the Greek pantheon? You will subscribe to all of them. No, I don't think that's man. That's amazing. I don't think you need to subscribe to all of them because it will be the same content. So Instagram subscription and TikTok subscription will just get the same content as the Patreon exclusives. So people can subscribe in various ways, but no point in subscribing to two or three of them because it will be the same. YouTube will be different. So on YouTube, I will go through my videos that I already did, and I will just do them longer. So I will do Zeus again. I will do Poseidon again. I will do Hades again, Loki, Thor, Odin, but just give you longer versions of them. So in that case, TikTok will be different. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Okay, because my neighbor's coming back, and I think he's coming back from New York. Um, Vaina Vainamoninen. How do you say that? Vainamoninen. Oh, you said spelling yourself. Um, Limini, Liminikainen. No, I don't know those. Vainamoninen, Liminikainen. I don't know them. Does there seem? I mean, it's a sample size of two names, but why does there seem to be a pattern of names and then ending in inen? Is that a thing? Is that, or did that used to be a thing in Finland once upon a time, that names end in inen? Law of marriage and the concept of monetary gain to solidify happiness to either men or women. That sounds like the Greek pantheon. Let me think about that. Yeah. I mean, the Greek pantheon, the Greek mythology is full of tales of true love. No, not full of it, but there are tales usually that end in tragedy. And the relationships between gods, I don't even know why the gods are relationships. Yeah, they seem very much um, based on the concept, yeah, monetary things to solidify love. I guess because at the end of the day, mythology was written probably at the time by men, or most of the input was men, and most of the storytellers that told those stories over time would have been men, or wrote them down. So they had their agenda, and they put that down on paper, and that's why we find the male role so dominant in mythology, and women often in the role of just receiving, or being the a lot there's a theme that in mythology in general, that a lot of crazy acts, a lot of bad deeds by great heroes are caused by women driving them crazy somehow. I mean, you can see the male handwriting all over mythology, right? Same with religions. I mean, religions are just mythologies that are the active religion, or rather, I should say, all mythologies used to be a religion, and I think there you can very much see the male handwriting on them too. True love, love of marriage, and the concept of monetary gain. A subscription for each of my person. You have at least 8 subscriptions. Yeah, I got you, Chaz. I got you. True love, Zeus, seed and tragedy. It may indicate nobility, male heroes, etc. I mean, I guess back in the day, to be fair, money was worth a lot more because there was a lot more poverty. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming. I don't know the numbers. Maybe the rate of poverty to rich people and middle class, maybe the rate, statistically speaking, or ratio percentage wise, was the same. Maybe. I would assume that the gap was higher, that there was less of a middle class and more of just people with money and people in poverty, and a gap in between with no real middle class. So I'm assuming, and um, maybe it makes sense then that money was more attractive. It was a rarer commodity, and just a luxurious lifestyle was worth so much, especially because you could die of fucking anything. And then I would see how it would be worthwhile pursuing a husband or a partner with money. I guess it makes more sense back then. Today it's less necessary. It still makes sense today. I mean, there's still a certain safety that comes with money, right? But still a security. So it's not wrong to. I can see how you can sometimes not separate the money from the person, and money can make you fall in love with someone because they make you feel secure and safe, and that's because the person has money. I guess it's the same with height and physical traits, like tall and strong. Ooh, he can protect me. It's an instinct. I guess money is the same. But that being said, what you spend the money on is still that's not inherent. So wasting money, that's not security. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. um, yes, women's team is receiving. Thanks, Zeus. Yeah. Zeus is all over the women's team. Zeus, seed, and tragedy. I like that too. History repeats itself, sir. There's always been a bad split of wealth throughout history. Money is that invention that was a godsend and a curse. Yeah, I don't know much about how money was invented. I know Harari wrote a book, right, on that. I didn't read it. I have it. I haven't read it. Where money came from. So I never dove down that rabbit hole, the origin of money. Maybe I should. But I love the idea, that they used to trade. Okay, I want this. I give you 10 cows. I want that. I give you 50 cows. You just have to. It's like this whole ordeal of bringing in goats or cows or horses or people. It's very, it's very strenuous. It's very like it's not convenient at all. And then somebody was like, you know what? This gold coin is worth 3 cows, and this gold coin is worth 5 cows. And it's like it's so weird that people just it makes so much sense that people accepted it. I guess it would have started with like bonds with like paper, here on this piece of paper I'm going to write down that you now own 5 cows. You can trade this in for 5 cows. That makes so much sense. And then paper was like it will burn easily, it will rip apart easily, so they changed it to coins. Like it's such a interesting how that started and how it just became accepted, right? And eventually, it was at some point it was like, okay, here I got a piece of paper, and I'm gonna immediately go get my cows or my goats. And then it turned into I'm gonna hold on to my piece of paper because it represents my cows or my goats. And then that turned into, I'm gonna take a snippet of my piece of paper and trade that in for tomatoes. So now you own a snippet of my cows or my goats, and I get tomatoes in return. And from then we just got currency. It's wild. It's if you think about it, it's hilarious. Can you all hear me all right? Does the sound good? Showing you have money was also used for affirming gender roles and providing security for the woman who couldn't own property of her own. Incredible, yeah. You cannot own property legally. That's a huge safety gap. That's a huge security. That's quite the security issue. And money can provide that. It makes sense. And I mean, it's ingrained in our biologies. And shit. I mean, look, 100 years ago, let me get that right. No, not quite. 150 years ago, they were still riding horses. When did the Wild West end officially? 1890. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 plays in that time too. What time does Red Dead Redemption 2 take place? 1890 was the end of the Wild West. That's not long ago at all. Um, and so how could we have evolved much from that within 2 3 generations? We can. So it's still ingrained in our biology. But that being said, education is a real thing. Rationale is also a thing. And some people, I want to have a philosophical debate about money, but it's just the root of all evils most of the time, it seems to me. How do we get there from just marriages and wedding and spending too much money on a ring? um If you dive down that rabbit hole, I know I would love a good brief side. Yeah, if I dive down that rabbit hole, I'll do a brief video on the origin of money. I was thinking anyway to do more. I did a story of that about that on Instagram. That I want to do more biographies and historical videos. So like Ernest Hemingway or Oppenheimer, because I just saw the movie, Jeanne d'Arc. and I had this idea of just like badass humans, so cool people from history, badass warriors, badass women, and also people like Napoleon, Alexander, Genghis Khan. What would you guys think about that? Maybe even some contemporary biographies, of contemporary people, Tesla or Nicholas, not the company, or I don't know, Frederick Douglass. Not very contemporary, I know, but what how would you feel about it? Or maybe even people that are alive, like Elon Musk comes to mind. I don't know, I can't think of anyone. Beyonce. How would you feel about that? Um, uh, if you dive down there, but this is a very deep conversation. Yeah, Anna, this turned into deep conversation. And Anna is like in a socializing environment. Meanwhile, there's this dude. Who's this guy on your laptop talking about the origin of money and hegemony? you know, if you dive down there, is a cherry orchard owner wanting? Wait, is that a tongue twist? Is the cherry orchard owner wanting apples and his neighbors had the apples? That's such a cool sentence. Well, if everyone has apples and cherries, how can you get a cow if the herdsman has a stockpile? Yeah, exactly. Beautiful example. Thank you. I love the first sentence. It's a cherry. That's a tongue. Say that 10 times real quick. It's a cherry orchard owner wanting apples and his neighbor had the apples. It's a cherry orchard owner wanting apples and his neighbor had the apples. Money. Audio is good, sounds good. Thank you. For my coworkers call me Cat, Chatty Cathy. If I'm talking too much, please say shut up for a bit, Chaz. No, don't shut up, Chaz. Go on, go on. Chat away, Kathy. Mm, all right, caught up on the chat. Um, sounds good. Gotta sneeze, goddamn. Okay. I think I'm getting a cold. I was out yesterday watching the UFC fight, and I don't socialize a lot. So, and I don't go out for drinks a lot anymore. I used to back in the day. Now, not anymore. And so now I think I'm getting a cold. That was too much for my senses. Um, okay, we got a bit of a wait here in chat. There's always that awkward moment when there's nothing in chat and there's no topic that I can ramble on, do my TED talk on, and then there's this moment of silence when nobody's saying anything. So let me, everybody here that joined the chat, Liam, Pia, Morgan, that girl, where are you guys from? I did that with Anna and Chaz earlier. Where are you guys from? Where are you from and where do you live? See, I'm from Germany, but I live in Mexico, right? So just curious. Just trying to make conversation. Just trying to make conversation. I shot like I can let you guys know that. I shot like yesterday. I shot so many videos. It was wild. It was a busy, busy day. I'll let you know what I shot yesterday so you know the upcoming videos. Yesterday I shot, get this. Hold on. Hold on. Yesterday I shot Icarus, Icarus, Sisyphus, Tantalus, the story of Tantalus, the story of Erysichthon, the story of King Midas. I shot Orestes, the Furies, Orion, Surtur, Galatea, Hestia, Cerberus, Mimir, holy shit, the Five Sons, Meleager, Greek Fates, Io, a non-binary god from Babylonian mythology, back in Akkadian times, Beowulf, Despina, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Izanagi and Izanami, Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi, Susanoo, Raijin, and Fujin. That's all I shot yesterday. Yesterday was a busy day. God damn, that's a lot of videos. Yeah, I was spent by the end of that. But now I can edit all of that, because I want to prep my videos until the end of the year in terms of TikTok and Patreon. So then I can launch I can launch YouTube with some peace of mind because I know my videos are good and done. From Mississippi, no, from Alabama, Birmingham in Alabama. from Mississippi, but living in Florida. Um, and yes, that Alabama with black hat symbol invoking WWE chairs. Birmingham, Alabama, Mississippi. So we got someone from Alabama, we got someone from Mississippi. Um, the one about Mimir, are you excited about? Yeah, Mimir. I like him. Like I figure a lot of people know him from God of War. So might be cool to give them the story about Mimir. It's not a lot because the story is fairly short. He was he didn't really appear much. He was just wise, but yeah, it was worth the video. Um, I'm from one side of North Carolina and living on the other side. Is that NC's North Carolina? Yeah. Yeah, yesterday was busy. Man, it's rough, because I shoot. So I do everything by myself, right? I shoot with this microphone attached to a broomstick. That's my tripod, and I use natural lighting, and I just shoot that way. That's all my videos. I'm gonna switch up the setup for YouTube because I'm always gonna shoot horizontal, and then I shoot by myself, edit by myself. I prompt the imagery by myself. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work, but I love it. I do really, really, genuinely, really, really love it. It never feels like work. And right now, in the preparation for YouTube, it is literally sun up until way past sundown. I get up 8, 9, whatever, and I work until at least 11 p.m., sometimes 1 a.m., and then sleep and repeat. And in between all that, I do is walk the dog and work out. So yeah, that is my thing right now. But because I want to launch YouTube and I want to launch it properly, by the time I launch YouTube channel, I want 10 videos to be ready. I'm not going to launch with 10 videos, but I don't want to upload and then have to, just have the backup ready, have the videos ready. So that's the plan. And right now I'm keeping really busy, but I love it. The thing is, which is beautiful, I learn. Every video I learn, I educate myself. So I'm constantly evolving. I'm never in a state of where I'm stuck. My life is always in flux, or my mind is, because I'm always learning. Now I entered Sumerian or Babylonian mythology, so now I'm learning about that, and that's great. Every video I come out more educated, so that's fantastic. It never feels like time wasted. That is, I need to blow my nose. I am definitely getting a cold. Hold on. What's up? Almost back. Sorry. Kobe. Missed it. All right. I'm back. Any more African goddesses entering the lineup? I want to do Yoruba, or Orisha, I should say. Definitely, I want to do that. I mean, Egyptian is, there's this whole thing in Africa where North Africa, Central Africa, and blah, West Africa, but North Africa is still Africa, so I consider Egyptian African. But I will do more on like the Orisha, and yeah, yeah, period. That will enter the lineup soon. Orisha, Yoruba. I got into trouble once. I did a video on Wakanda, and I said the Yoruba religion, and boy, did I get into trouble that I called it Yoruba religion, because people said Yoruba is not a religion, and then my argument was, well, are the gods something you believe in? And yes, they are. So I googled the definition of religion, and the definition of religion is a set of beliefs. So by definition, Yoruba is a religion if you believe in it. But it started a huge argument that it's not a religion, and it still doesn't make sense to me, because it is. If you have a set of gods, a pantheon of gods that you believe in, a set of beliefs, it's a religion. So yeah, I'm going to cover the Yoruba religion and the Orisha. That would be interesting. It's always a lot more sensitive, the videos and the reception, when it's an active belief system. I can talk smack about Zeus all I want, or the Norse gods. No one cares. With the Egyptians, already a little bit people care more with the Aztecs and the Maya too. And if I once I get into like really active belief systems, people could get a lot more sensitive. It's interesting and funny to me because Zeus used to be somebody that people really genuinely believed in. Apollo, very much so. Athena, very much so. I think Athena is still in a lot of places, right? It's not dead. The Hellenistic belief system is not dead. But I can talk crap and shit all I want. But if I touch an active belief system, um, oh boy, it's funny to me. But people fail to realize that all of these mythologies used to be active belief systems. There's no difference. The only difference is time. Now, I'm not saying believing is wrong. I'm saying it's just as fair to believe in Zeus, Ra, Thor, Odin, Shinto, Buddha, as anything else. Whatever gives you something, wherever you find spirituality, wherever you find a connection. I think having a belief system is beautiful. I think it gives you tremendous peace. And honestly, who knows what happens? Who knows what the truth is? So you're on the safer side believing something. And I think there's a lot of great benefits to believing in something. And it makes sense because there's so much unknown. You can choose to believe in the unknown. You can believe in science. You can believe in the fact that we don't know anything, or you can believe in the spiritual. All of it is just as valid as there maybe being a programmer somewhere, and we're all a virtual reality of some 15-year-old genius's game in a different galaxy. There's a billion possibilities. You get what I'm saying? All of these religions, a belief system, is one of those billions of possibilities. And they're all the same. Like they're all so similar. There's no difference between the billions of possibilities. There's so many differences in each possibility of how the universe works. But within religion and mythologies, the differences are so marginal. They're all the same. Yet people get so offended just because one is active and one is deactivated. It's very interesting. Um, Um, Rant. Thank you. Those were a lot of words. They're all active. I believe all current religions are just built on the corpses of mythology. Exactly. They're all active. All current religions. That beautifully said. Beautifully said. It's reshaped, rehashed, reused, refined. There's a reason there's so many parallels. There's a reason there are so many parallels dating back even to, if we go back to the Sumerians, which is now 4,000 years old, right? You already find the origins of Christianity are already there 4,000 years ago. The stories are basically blueprints. Um, Connection. Um, can I look at the correlation of? Oh, you just said you just said that. Okay. Yeah, sorry, you just said the exact same thing. Yeah, speaking of Enlil and Enki, yeah. Which one was it? I think Enki was essentially Zeus, right? No, it was that. I don't know. One of them was already Zeus. I'm rusty on the Sumerians, but then the Sumerians evolved into the Babylonian mythology, whatever that's called. Was that called Akkadian? I'm not sure right now. Was that different? Akkadian? I think Babylonian is Akkadian. Anyway, the Sumerians then got adopted within just a time span of 1,000 years, a couple hundred of years. Sumerian already got adopted, very much like how the Romans adopted Greek mythology. The Babylon did to Sumerian, right? And then later the Greeks adopted the Sumerian and the Babylonian, and then the Romans adopted that, and then that evolved into Christianity. But Christianity took a lot of influences from Norse mythology too, and yada yada yada. And that's oh um thank you. Joe Pesci. I believe in Joe Pesci. I believe in Joe Pesci. I wish I could read that in a Joe Pesci voice too. Joe Pesci. George Carlin was an amazing man. Exactly. Whatever you believe in. Hey, and if you want to believe in, that's the beauty with Shinto. So in Shinto religion, I don't know how much you guys know about Shinto. In Shinto, you just assign belief to whatever, and anything could be anything. Perfect. All right, so I got this prop katana from Mini Katana. So this could be in Shinto. I could assign a spirit. This could be my dad's katana, and I decide my dad's spirit resides in here, or this could be the spirit of violence, and my life was tough, so I pray to this katana as the god of violence to please bring me peace. You know, whatever. I could assign so much value to this katana in Shinto. Same goes for trees. Um, Rocks, urns, ashes, water. Shinto, everything has a spirit, and no spirit is necessarily bigger, greater, or more important than the other. It's whatever importance it has for you, and you believe in that. So you could have a shrine for a pebble if you want to, or a branch. It's whatever you believe in, you assign it. And I think that's very beautiful in Shinto. It's such an open belief system, very, it's just it's fair, and it's true to the idea of spirituality is wherever you find it. Meaning is whatever you assign it to. Meaning, yeah, I love Shinto for that. Mm, praise be everyone, boring from everyone. Chaz, I love you bringing this up. We meme joke about having a spirit animal. We are so blind to the truth. We joke about exactly, yeah. So Shinto is basically the origin of spirit animal. It's kind of in a way the origin of that. Shinto is all about spirits, and it's really beautiful. And yeah, we're not aware of what we're joking about there. It is just as valid to say I believe in this, in the spirit of a lion, on the lion as God. On that note, it's just as valid because a lot of mythologies are connected to the planets, right? I mean, the planets are literally named after Roman gods, and the planets or the stars, at least we can see. So it's just as valid to assign spirituality and meaning to those as to, I think, more valid than to a god that you've never seen, you probably will never see. So, if people believe in the stars and the planets and their movements and whatever, fair enough. It's very similar to Shinto, where you assign spirits to the nature you can see and touch. To me, nature makes even more sense because it's right there, it's tangible. The stars and the planets, not so much. But back in the day, people used to assign much more meaning to the things they could see and grasp. And then over time, or they just use the gods to explain those things. So, for example, Orion, the Greek god Orion or Orion, is a star constellation, right? It moves across the sky. And the Scorpio star constellation moves across the sky in a pattern, contrary to Orion. It's like the Scorpius is chasing Orion. And so the Greeks had a lot of stories about how Orion ended up star constellation, or they just have stories about Orion being chased by a scorpion. And a lot of these stories are just ways to explain. I always know if it's astronomy or astrology. I don't know which word, but it's to explain the astro stuff. And then they were turned into stories, and then from the stories we make gods. But essentially, it used to be more tangible, and the myths just explained the fire and the sea and the wind. There's a storm. Okay, that's Thor beating his hammer, but it was more believe in the wind than the sea. But we assigned a role, a character to it because it makes it easier to tell the story and honestly more fun. And then people now take that so seriously, and the gods have become completely detached from the natural phenomenon that they were an explanation for, that they were simply a metaphor for. But we removed it entirely from believing in the power of nature to now believing in gods that are completely detached from it. And the wildest thing is now you have climate change, which is, the world, the nature, environment, that's our God. We are at its mercy entirely. That's God. That's God. Nature, climate, the planet, that's our God. We are at its mercy. So climate change is this God talking to us saying, yo, you guys fuck me up. And people don't believe in it and mess with this God over and over and over while believing in a completely intangible concept that used to be created or be a stand-in for this planet, now detached from it. So they still believe in this concept, pray to this concept, instead of realizing that the environment is God, we should worship the environment and heal it and not fucking kill it. You get me? So Shinto was so in tune with this planet, we wouldn't have these issues. But now we shit on our God and we can kill the environment, that God being the planet. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you. That was a long rant. You get me, bruv. Do you follow? I want to hear your opinions on this. Type away. How old is Shinto? That's a good question. Let me Google that real quick. Yeah. So Shinto can be traced back to 300, 300 to. Give me a moment. Okay, got it. Can be traced back to 300 BCE, but there's no set origin point. I mean, it makes sense, right? As soon as humans would walk, the first humans in their caves or whatever would see this lightning strike down a tree. First humans would see a lightning strike down a tree, and they'd be like, "Holy shit!" I mean no offense. Please don't hurt me. They would pray this way or whatever. They would pray to this lightning to please spare them. Right? That would be your immediate reaction. To my dog, he's scared of thunder. To my dog, thunder is a form of God, probably out of his control. So immediately you believe. So the first humans immediately would believe in lightning as a form of spirit, a god, a deity, something powerful. That is already Shinto by default, but it just didn't have that name assigned. So I guess the name, or it had to getting labels can be traced back to 300 BCE. But belief in nature and its powers, I think that's instant. The moment you're born, even a toddler, a baby, must have some kind of belief system about a thunder storm, right? Thunderclap. That's why I'm more spiritual than religious. I feel and believe that the stars and energy does play a major part in our lives, so they can apply in certain aspects. Yeah, so I'm I am not. I don't know if I am spiritual. I'm spiritual when I do like yoga. When I did yoga, I've experienced the sensation of where I feel like I left my body and stuff. So that was quite spiritual. But I don't know what to attribute it to. Um, and I'm aware of biology, nervous system, certain movements, effects, pressure points trigger certain sensations. But there are points where science is at its wit's end. There are instances like the pyramids that are an absolute mystery and completely defy all scientific logic. And that is, of course, where the unknown comes in. I tend to find solace or inspiration in the spiritual. So I wouldn't say I'm spiritual, but again, where the unknown comes in, I tend to turn spiritual. But I don't know. It's funny sometimes with the zodiacs. It's funny when you see patterns between people, but at the same time, I think it's dangerous uh, to assign personalities to people based on something that's out of their control. But it's fun to play with it, and it's fun when there's a correlation. Uh, but you said in certain aspects, yes. So I agree with that. We have left age of Pisces and are in Aquarius. We're in the age of spiritual awakening. I'm a Pisces. I'm the last of signs. I'm everywhere. I honestly don't know much about the signs. I never I got into that, but I read this beautiful thing once where someone says, the stars and the planets and the solar system are tangible. We can see them. We know it exists, so it makes more sense to believe in that than words, and I agree with that. Um, but I'm very much, I believe in everything I can see and touch, and so my belief system, if anything, is tangible. So I think Shinto is closest to my heart in that way. Shinto religion. Yeah, and I'm the same. I know nothing. I just know I'm a Gemini. We're on the same page, Anna. Don't nothing. I'm the same. That not everyone can go down this matrix. It's not for the weak. Oh yeah, there's so many rabbit holes that I need to jump down. I'm sure eventually I'll get there. Uh, because this whole thing briefed will lead me down mythologies, and mythologies will undoubtedly lead me down paths of religious paths, and then astronomy, astrology, and star constellations. Oh yeah, we didn't answer my question, my earlier question. Would you like? Do you guys think it's a good idea to dive into more contemporary people and biographies and history, or should I just stick to mythology? Mm, mythology. That was a defined mythology with an exclamation mark. Also, Kaz Lee, welcome to the written chat. You've been a quiet observer. Good to have you. What's up? How you doing, Kaz Lee? I recall we're coming up on an hour. Chat's quiet and slow. We're coming up on an hour, so I'm gonna end the stream soon. And let me check real quick what they said on Patreon for the other stream. So that's because I'm doing two today, right? So more people can join in, but feel free to come back for the next one. So I'm happy with the same people. So next one is at 2. So I'm streaming again in 2 hours. So I'm going to stream again in 2 hours. Got to walk my dog now, eat something, and then I'll stream again in 2 hours. And I'll see some of you again probably, and then some new people hopefully. I feel you should, but let me catch up on these messages. I think it would be fun to hear more contemporary people too. Okay, people should learn more about different kinds instead of being stuck on Greek. Yeah, it's I agree, and sometimes I'm annoyed myself that the majority of my content is Greek mythology. That's why I use some Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, because I agree with you, and also Sumerian. Oh man, you go way back. But the thing is, I know the most about Greek mythology. That's where I'm most informed, and Norse. So the other mythologies, I'm learning too, and I need to research a lot more. But with this schedule now, with the channel being what it is, it's such a it's a tough schedule, and I constantly need to produce. So it's easier for me to default to Greek mythology because I know a lot about it. And other mythologies take way more time for me to do content on them. But as I said earlier, I was shooting like 20 videos yesterday. I shot like 20 videos yesterday. And now, once I edit those, it will give me a buffer. Once YouTube is launched, I'll have like a buffer of a month or two where I can research. Imagine it like I'm working on this movie, and then I'm in the post production stage. The movie is done, and then I have like 2 months to work on a new movie, and I can research and I can do new content. And it's like the new season. So when the new season hits, then I can give you guys new mythologies or more contemporary stuff because I will have time finally to research. Um, but would be amazing to mix. Mythology is my word as well, but would be amazing to mix history and mythology because they're both the same. I agree. Yeah. As long as you keep me brief, I don't care what you're briefing me on. Appreciate that, Chaz. I'll hopefully be on the next stream, but I may be driving home. No worries, Anna. Yes, drive safe, please. Drive safe. Drive safe. I homeschool and use your videos in them because they're relatable with your language. There's so much info. Love your Greek stores still, especially the deeper Greek stores aside from the top. Hey, oh, that's amazing, Kazi. That's so cool. I heard someone else saying also use my videos in class. So number one, that makes me glad I chose not to cuss in my videos or just to use it, as a comedic element that I cut out before I do it. So I'm very glad I went down that route because it opens up to more people. I wanted it. I know my comedy is not necessarily always PG, but I think goes over a lot of kids' heads. And the words I use that are rough words like incest or violence or murder, I mean, that's real stuff. Those are not cuss words. That's just real. I don't want to sugarcoat that. But I'm glad I'm not cussing. I'm glad I went down a route where they're accessible or viewable for everybody. And now you telling me that's cool. That makes me happy to hear. That's amazing. Um, Very cool. I have a lot more videos planned, like Tantalus, Erysichthon, Sisyphus, Io. So I have a lot of videos coming up. Those are all Greek mythology, to be fair, that are not big stories. So I'm moving away from bigger ones. Traffic, it hurts me in terms of traffic, but whatever. For YouTube, I will cover the big gods first in more detail, though. Contemporary as well. Maybe the origins of fairy tales. Somebody wrote that? Somebody requested that on Patreon. Was that you? I like that too. Yes, fairy tales would be amazing. So, I mean, consider this: everything you're watching now and everything you're going to watch until the end of the year is basically season one. All this content is done or in the process of post production. Everything from now until the end of the year, even January, is already in post production. So that's season one. And next year, February, March, is basically season two. And for season two, I can shake things up. I can add new mythologies, I can add more history, I can add more contemporary, I can add fairy tales. So for season two, I can do different stuff. You understand? Um, so yeah. And now I'm trying to figure out, what do people want to see for season two. As videos, I warned her that all mythology have incest, and we're doing Egypt before we go into our Filipino mythology and then your Greek series. Fairy tales are a great idea, so much more. Yeah, but the incest is just what should be no. I joke a lot with the incest, but in most of these stories, there's just no other beings around. Like it's just there's about 15 beings, and they're all family. And especially in this, because all of these religions are origin stories, and all the gods have the same origin. So there is simply no way to avoid incest. It's just funny when we look at it through our contemporary human lens. It's hilarious. The incest is hilarious, and I like to joke with it. But it's just we can't look at it from our perspective, from their perspective, from the gods' perspective, and the perspective of the times. It's not incest. It's a lot of these stories in general. I always use these plot points where he kidnapped a 13-year-old. Oh, he did what? She got married at 15. And yada yada yada. From that point of view, at the time, that was not a child anymore. They didn't view it that way, and a lot of the atrocities that men commit against women in these stories are atrocities from our perspective. From their perspective, not so much. Kidnapping your wife was absolutely common and absolutely widely accepted. Um, and so yeah, it's of course I use our perspective. So these are atrocities, and I make light of them with comedy. And my favorite is obviously the incest part and Zeus just being a giant asshole. But yeah, at the time, I mean, those are rough times, but they just live in. So even when I do history, I'm going to speak on all this stuff. It's going to be interesting because when I do history, I'm going to talk about slavery. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the suffering of real people, which is, from our perspective, they suffered even more. But from their perspective, then, the emotional damage is real, but it's just the times that we're living in. It wasn't necessarily crimes. So I'm going to try to find a way to make light of that, to be comedic about that, but it's going to be tougher because it's real people. But you understand what I'm saying, right? So that's why I'm not trying to sugarcoat the mythology, because it is incest. But also you have to know, now I'm rambling. What am I saying? What am I doing? I'm rambling. I'm sorry, guys. I'm always rambling. It's my job to talk. Ramble on. Power to Medusa. Yeah, power. Medusa is a great example. It's a great example. There's so many. Even historians don't agree on which Medusa story is the actual one. The stories vary, and the story by just the Medusa story, you can tell the times by how the Medusa story is changed and adopted. Right now, Medusa has become a symbol for me too. So the Medusa story is a great tale because it goes with the times, and depending on the times we live in, she's more or less of a victim, or she's a symbol for power, or even Athena tried to protect her now. So depending on the era we live in, the Medusa story keeps getting adopted and changed to reflect contemporary society. So that's a great example. But if we were to trace back the origins, Medusa, I think, was never even a woman to begin with. The OG tale, Medusa was just another monster. So it's very interesting, and you always gotta have perspective. That's why mythology is so beautiful, because it flows, and essentially they're just stories. And when I tell you, we're briefed, I tell you my version of these stories, and you take whatever lesson you want from it, behind the comedy, right? I think that's the point. Briefed, you have always approached topics with a wholesome tactic. You hit those tough topics spot on. Incest is just a difficult topic to discuss for most. Yeah, thank you, Chaz. Thank you, Chaz. I think my tactic is just nobody's safe. And I treat every issue, every atrocity with the same lens of comedy and seriousness. So I don't have an agenda. In my opinion is truly, don't. There's no agenda. There's no bias. I just state it, and if I think it's ridiculous, I don't know. I know, but thank you for saying that. Yeah, I try. I have an interesting video coming up on the Spina, and the Spina is a tough one. There's no comedy in that video, because it's just Poseidon raped Demeter, and Demeter found it disgusting, and she left her child and abandoned it, and that was the Spina. So that one, I think, is the only video so far where I have no comedy, because it's just not funny. Nothing about that is funny. Except for Poseidon once again being a massive asshole, and it's just funny how much of an asshole Poseidon and Zeus are. But that story is just not funny. So yeah, that was the first video where I couldn't find the comedy. Actually, that's coming up, the Spina. That I'm gonna release that in December. All right, guys. At an hour and 10 minutes, I'm gonna call it quits real quick. I'll be back in 2 hours, hour and 50 minutes. I'll be back. So at 2 p.m. ET. For me, it's I'm actually an hour behind. So for me, it's gonna be at 1, but for you, it's 2 p.m. or wherever you are. 2 p.m. ET. I'm back. I have a time zone converter in my stream announcement. I'll be back. Hopefully, new people can join in, because a lot of people voted for that time slot. And if you want to come back. I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you in the next stream. Thank you for the support. Truly, it means everything. You keep the channel alive. That's not just, I need you. That's not some Uncle Sam thing. No, you keep the channel alive. Facts. So thank you. You're getting a notification. Yes, I'm going to send out messages to everybody on Patreon, and I'm going to post again on Patreon for the new stream. So it's a new post. It's a new message. You will know. And I will send it out like 10 minutes before the stream. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day too, Chaz and Kesley. I need you guys. I need all of you, literally. Hopefully see some of you later. If not, I'll see you in the next one. Love you all. Thank you. And I'll be back. In an hour and a half ish. Hour and 50 minutes. So 2 p.m. ET. Next stream, I will post it on Patreon as a new post, and I will send out a message to everybody again that the new stream will go live in with like a 5-minute countdown. All right. See you later. Bye.